Good morning. Welcome to Bars and Bells. My name is Ian.
And I'm Lauren.
And today, welcome to our bodyweight and bell kettlebell practice. We have kettlebells off to the side, but we'll first start with our bodyweight and invite you to stretch and strength with us. So let's get going. I'll be in charge of the warm-up, and then Lauren will get us onto the floor to work on that core. Stand in a position comfortable for you, hand belly, hand chest. Take a big breath in, filling the belly, expanding, making room. Then exhale, pulling that belly button towards the spine. Repeat again. Breath in, and then slow exhale. In slow, out with control as well. And repeat one last time. Breath in, and slow exhale. Continue breathing in and out of the nose as we explore our head neck now. At the head neck, modest shapes always, add a rotation. Remember to breathe. From here, look up the wall or up towards the ceiling, and then with your head or neck assembling in center, pull the crown high back to level. Then just add your rotation to the side, opposite side, and then looking up the wall, tracing towards the ceiling or center, and then pulling the crown high, resetting on level. Now let's just add a rotation to the original side, and this time look down as to nod your head towards your armpit, and then to center, reset on that horizon, and lastly add the rotation to the opposite side, a gentle chin nod, find center, and then assemble on the horizon. Let's replicate those same actions of the head neck through the rib cage. For that, I do like to keep my elbows in tight, shoulders retracted, and first, we'll add our rotation. The head will follow here as you rotate to the corner. I'll dip to the back corner, and then a little bit of that limbo action to center, and then pull that rib cage back on straight. From here, add our rotation next, casual side bend to the back corner, and then that gentle limboing action to center, and then pull the rib cage back on the hips. Rotations again to the original side. Now again, dip towards that back corner, but this time round out the front shape, and then extension to up. And lastly, add the rotation to the other corner, a gentle side dip, and then that rounding shape to front. Connect that rib cage to hips, but then let it shake out in the middle. One more task with our breath here. Take a big belly breath in, fill it nice and full. Then exhale, pulling the belly to spine. Now, set the abs in the sense of brace on top of that. And for 10 seconds, can we breathe? Inhale, exhale, while maintaining the core tension. Then just relax a little. Repeat one more time, and belly to spine, then here, brace to feel those abdominals engage. And whether it's a test like this or a gentle threat like that, feel the tension, continue to breathe, and then shake it out. It's Lauren's turn now, and we'll get to the floor to check in on wrists. But first, little feet, I think.
With our feet underneath us, we'll do our quick foot warm-up. So imagine you're pulling your foot along the floor, but it's not actually going to move, but you're going to pull so much you peel your heel up. Then from there, use your toes to point. We'll do our gentle roll over the foot. Feel that nice stretch through the top. From here, let's allow the foot to wing out to the side a little bit, and then pull it back to center, and allow it to come in a bit, and back to center. Then we'll push into the floor to get to the toe point, to the demi, and now that you push forward to drive the heel into the ground. Repeat on the other side. Imagine pulling or scraping that foot along the floor in order to peel it up. Then use your toes to point. Allow the foot to roll over. Add that little wing out to the side. Pull it back to center. Wing a little bit into center. Center it up. Point the toes through the ball of the foot, and then push forward to drive that hip forward. From there, we'll gently push our knees towards over our toes, keeping our shoulders stacked over top of our hips, and then drive down and away and extend, squeezing the butts, bracing the core. Repeat again. Pull yourself down. This time, could we peel the heels slightly off the floor? Find a light balance. Put the heels back down and press to tall. We'll do that one more time, this time coming towards the floor. Knees go over the toes. The heels will come up. Now try to sink lower. And then with or without your hands, knees will tap down. Hips will extend. Let's stay in this tall position for a second and bring one knee out into that kneeling lunge position. So with that single leg in front of us and our hips on our body, we'll hike our hip and then pull it down. And then we'll anterior tilt the pelvis so that the tailbone reaches towards the ceiling and we have that sway in our low back. Now tuck the hips under, squeezing that back butt cheek. And with level horizontal and that back butt cheek squeeze, let's push down into the floor with that front foot and pull on that leg, creating some tension and some excitement in that front hip flexor. Let's keep pulling, allowing the knee to drift towards over the toe a little bit and keep that back cheek squeezed. Then driving down and forward press back up to tall. Let's do that one more time. That cheek is squeezed. We're pulling on that leg, drifting knee towards over the toe, but staying tall as to not round or sway our low back. And then press forward to come back up. Let's do one heel toe open to warm up for our get-ups today. Heel toe that leg to the side. Again, we'll hike the hip, pull it down. We'll tilt the tailbone to the ceiling, spilling the punch out the front, and then tuck the tailbone under. From that nice level position, let's push down again and pull on that leg. And again, slowly start drifting that knee towards over the toe. That back hip is still extended. And then we'll drive down and away, growing back up to tall, and repeating one more time. Push and pull as you go knee towards over that toe, and then press back to tall. We'll heel toe the leg to the front, bring it underneath, zip, and do the same thing on the other side. Other leg comes up. Adjust as needed. With that back toe tucked, we'll hike a hip and then pull it down. Again, swaying or arching that low back, but then tucking the tailbone under, squeezing that back butt cheek. With that back cheek squeezed, pushing down and pulling on the floor, again to start drifting that knee towards over the toe. Keep stacked here. And then push forward to go back and keep extending that back hip forward. Repeat one more time. That back hip is pushing forward. We're pulling on the floor, the knee towards over the toe, and then pushing down and away, meeting up tall. From there, heel toe open to the side, squaring up, staying forward. We'll hike a hip, pull it down. Tilt the tailbone to the ceiling, tuck it underneath, and keep it squeezed there. Pushing down and pulling will allow that knee to drift over towards the toe, and then press away to get back up to tall, extending the hip forward. One more time. Pulling on that floor, drifting over, and then pressing back up to tall. From there, let's heel toe the foot to the front, pull it underneath, and we'll do a nice quick wrist warm up here. So from here, pushing your hips back, extend your arms, connect your fingertips to the floor, then that callus line, and then the palm. As your palm comes down, let's make those elbows nice and straight, and our shoulders are already packed. Pulling on the floor just like we did in that lunge. If you pull, you'll start to drift your shoulders towards over your fingertips. And then if you push forward, you'll send yourself back. As we send ourselves back, keep that tailbone or spine long again. And repeat, elbows straight, shoulders packed, pull on the floor, drifting forward. And then push forward to go back. This time pushing so much we flick and shake out. Let's do one more wrist that I like for get up warm-ups. And this time we'll go sideways. So palms will face each other, hinge on the hips, fingertips, callus line, elbows straight, palms land. This time push your right fingers into the floor, and that should send you to the left. Push your left fingers into the floor, sending you to the right. Feel that weight transfer a couple more times, keeping those elbows nice and straight. As we come back to center here, we'll peel the hands away from the floor. and flick, and then get into some core and body weight get-ups.
Awesome. So let's start with a get up, assembling in a cuddle, as that will be the first position we'll utilize later in the workout. The cuddle is, if you're laying on your right side, be prepared to hold that kettlebell with the right hand. Pack the shoulders like Lauren prepared us for already, and then roll to your back, and with two hands, press your imaginary bell to the ceiling. Assemble in the get-up stance, meaning that off arm is extended at the side about belt line high. First, push the bent leg in the floor, extending the hip. Then pulling on the elbow, we assemble here. Next, we'll hit our tall sits position and continue to press the foot and the hand in the floor as we sweep through the leg. Then we'll slide the hand up along the floor to the leg, squaring up the lunge, and from here, core brace, standing tall. Now that leg that we can touch, step it back into our drop lunge and pull on that floor, scissoring hips to control the descent in the lunge. Then heel toe the leg out to the side, then rotate through the body. Hinge on the hip. Place a hand on the floor. Sweep through, tall sit, find the elbow, and then push the elbow away from the ground, lowering yourself with control. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Ooh, let's start in that cuddle. Good job, Lauren, if you were starting in that
forgot to
cuddle.
put it down in your cuddle, Ian.
Okay, we'll nail it this time. So in that cuddle, maybe elevate a shoulder, but then pull that shoulder blade down for strength and support when we hold that bell. From here, we'll roll to our back, and the two-hand idea on the press to set up. Get up stance, arm extended at the side. First move again from here is to press the hip into the ground through the foot, then pull on the elbow. Transition from the elbow to our tall sit. In our tall sit, the bent leg foot presses down, transferring weight to hands as we sweep the other leg, slide up the body, square the lunge, and core brace to tall. The leg we can touch then drops back in the lunge, and we'll scissor those legs together, descending with control. Then open the leg to the side, rotate through the upper body, hinge on the hip, have the hand find the floor. Sweep that leg back through to the tall sit, then find the elbow, and then press the elbow away from the floor to return with control. From our backside, let's get into a quick bridge. Arm placements for this could be fists to the ceiling or palms up at your sides. There's other variations too, but stick with those for now. Let's do an anterior tip of the hip, which might create a little space under that low back. Next, scoop the hips or pull the front of the hips towards the belly button, activating glutes. Then continue to bridge or extend those hips away from the floor. Then a high bridge. Hands to the ceiling or hands on the ground. Next, press the feet in the floor. Pull the knees together. Cramp the glutes, and how about those abs? Could they take that punch? Hang out here, but relax the effort required, and then like our yoga cat-cow, roll down that spine, articulating the top vertebrae towards the bottom, and that our back side of the belly button touches before the back side of the buttocks touch their floor. Let's repeat that one more time. Gently anterior tip the hips as to create a little space under the low back. Next, scoop, bringing the front of the hip towards the belly button, cramping those glutes along the way, and now we're in our bridge. We're breathing in our bridge, we're bracing those abs in the bridge, and looking to create high levels of tension. Squeeze your butt for 5 seconds more. Brace those abdominals and maintain your breath. Hold the pose. Relax the tension and articulate down the spine with control. Vertebrae by vertebrae, own those spaces in between for strength. Whew. That's our hip bridge. From there, let's just roll over and assemble on those wrists again. A forearm style plank here is also appropriate, but if we can, let's just load up those arms one more time in our plank. Fingertips, calluses, hands. Assemble in that nice high planks position. And same cue from before, slightly scoop those hips under to activate the abs and butt cheeks. Squeeze your butt, brace your core, pull hands to feet, create high tension with stiff elbows for 3, 2, and then knees down and rest. What's up, Lauren?
Oh, just your enthusiastic enunciation today.
Okay, got it.
Intonation.
All right, well, here we go.
High tension planks, brought to you by Ian.
One more time. Assemble that high tension plank style. The hips are slightly scooped and pull the floor together. Breathe, brace, create high tension that we'll utilize in our swing variations coming up, and then gently place knees to floor. To incorporate the hinge here, let's tip your tailbone to the ceiling, similar to that cow pose in yoga, and then using the hands, push the hands forward. The hips may lift into a modified down dog. Safely, slowly straighten the knees, but maintain the tailbone pointing towards the ceiling. Calves, hamstrings, back of the body might get a little bit live here. So then bend the knees just a little bit. For the last rep, we'll tip the tailbone to the ceiling for the last time, and then gently straighten the knees. Maintain the integrity of the spine, meaning extended. Breathe, and then use your hands. Press yourself back towards your hinging position and extend the hips through and add a little bit of a shake.
Nice. From here, we'll get into our swing breakdown a little bit, combined with some get-up breakdowns. So have a bell out just beside you, and we'll practice and warm up our hinges first. Standing over top of our bell to start, let's place one foot on either side of that bell. We'll take our hands. We'll chop our hips back into our nice hinge position. Our nice hinge position means our toes are gripping the floor, our spine is nice and long, and our shins are vertical. Let's grip the bell for a second. Feel that load through your hamstrings and glute. Keep the chin tucked. Now imagine lifting this bell for 4, 3, 2, let it go. Come up without. Let's repeat that again. Hip hinge, pushing those hips back. Nice long spine. Vertical shins. Grip your bell. Pack your shoulders. It's 1,000 pounds. Pretend to lift it for 3, 2, up without. Whew. Let's keep on the hinges. You can keep your bell there and you can stay standing, but let's add a little bit of that chop. So this time we're going to chop our hips back into that hinge, feel the load, and then pop our hips through, more like our swing. Let's repeat 5 more times, chopping those hips back and popping them through. For 4 more, at the top we have that core brace just like we practiced in our plank position. We're breathing as those hips snap through. I've lost count, but let's call this the last one and shake it out.
Excellent.
You may have to move that off to the side as we break down the get up here.
As we continue, maybe come back to that preloading idea of the deadlift. We'll get into those swings in just a second. Lunges as part of that get up first. With the hand either across chest, racks position, or in that safe, strong position overhead, take the leg out the back, and we'll take 5 seconds to pull ourselves down in a lunge. 5, 4, scissoring these hips, pulling and pushing with control, and now press away from center to fully stand back up tall. Repeat 2 more. Step, pull. If that arm is tired, just bring it to rack. Then we're pushing away from center, full brace to tall stand. One last repetition. Step, pull, scissoring those hips for control, and then pressing away from center to arrive back up tall. And grooving that press is a great idea if your arm is overhead, as is a wiggle. Racks position or safely overhead, take a single leg that you can touch, drop it out the back, and scissor those hips. It's a pull on the front and a push from the back. Then it's a push front and back to stand back up tall. Repeat, step back, pull the front leg forward and pull the back leg forward and front leg in. Then push away from center to arrive at tall. If that arm is getting tired, pull it to rack. Then step back in the drop lunge position. Keep this back hip extended, pushing forward. Then push away from center. We're back up tall. Groove that press if your arm was overhead. Shake it out, and let's progress to more of a swing variation here.
Nice. So from our hinges, which you can continue with, adding some load in our deadlift pattern if that's for you, or we're gonna progress to our hike pass. What that means is you'll take your bell out and you'll have it in front of you as you would for your big swing, sorry. So let's stand with our toes touching the bell, then pivot on one foot and then pivot on that toe. Pivot on the heel, pivot on the toe. Rock back and forth, find your nice positioning here. We'll take our hands, pushing our hips back, loading up that hinge position. Right now our hike pass only, so that means our hands are on the bell. It's gonna tip on its side. Engaging our lats, we're gonna pull the bell to the zipper of our pants and then park it where we got it. Let's do that about 4 more times. Pull and park. As we do this, we're trying to stay the same height. We're really trying to engage those lats as we pull, which is the underarms. And last one, pull, park, and then drive down and away to stand up tall. Nice. We should have felt that load on our hamstring glutes as well as our core.
And not our low back. Feel the preload, stay safe, progress with strength and caution at the same time. 1 lunge only this set, I promise, but then we're working on that windmill. So with an arm overhead or in the rack as you wish, check out your surroundings, and then step and drop in our lunge. From here, let's open that leg to the side. Add that rotation through the upper body, hinge on the hip, and find the floor. From here, could you stack that the hand at the top is in a vertical line with the hand below? And with your head, maybe look at that hand on the floor. Then look back up to the hand up top, then press the floor away, extending the hips. Return your upper body to center. Repeat 1 more time as you rotate that upper body. We hinge on the hip, place the hand on the floor, and then load or stack straight up and down. With the head, neck, take a look at the hand on the floor, screw it in, then look at the hand back up top, and then press the floor away, assembling in our side lunge, and then to the front. And what's those cues for coming out of that lunge? The front leg forward, the back leg back, hi-ya, to tall. And groove that press with the shake. Same effort on the other side. Check your surroundings. Arm could be overhead or in rack. Single leg drops back, and with control, we pull ourselves down still. Then that leg opens up, wiggling to the side. Next, it's that rotation through the body, head, and then shoulders rotate. Hinging on the hip, place a hand on the floor, and then lean or load to stack. Look at the hand on the ground. Then look back up to the hand up top and push the floor away, extending hips. Return the upper body to center. Repeat 1 last time. Add our rotation, incorporate our hinge. Hand to the floor, lean and load over top. Look at the hand on the ground. Is it screwed in? Then look back up at the hand to the ceiling. Is it stacked above? Press the floor away. Square up the upper body. Move that leg forward too. Core brace tension up. And then let's groove the down. And then the shake. Let's keep progressing that swing. Lauren, what do you got?
We're going to progress from our hike passes to 1 full stop swing. 1 full stop swing means we start, as we would in our swing, in our hike pass position, pull to zipper, 1 full swing, through, and park. We'll repeat that about 5 times. So let's set up together. With our toes touching the bell, we'll pivot on a heel, and then pivot on a toe. Pivot on a heel, pivot on a toe. Rock back and forth. Pushing those hips back, loading up hammies and glutes. Grip your bell and tip it on its side. From here, we're gonna inhale, pull, exhale, and park. Repeat 4 more times. At that top position, our shoulders are retracted. We're in that plank stance, so our glutes and our abs are braced. And our chin is tucked slightly. So we're keeping that neutral spine. And park. Let it go. Up, Shake and wiggle.
Nice. There's one more element of the get up that we'll work through today, and it incorporates that sweeping action of the leg. So we'll lunge down and then go from there. Arm rack, arm cross chest or overhead. Leg, drop it back. Pull yourself down with control. Open the leg to the side. And then like before, we'll rotate through the upper body next. Hinge, find the floor with a hand, and then stack over top. In that stacked position, hand on the floor and shoulder above, take the bent knee out the back and sweep it to our tall sit. Now push your foot in the ground, press the hand in the ground, and then bridge and sweep the leg out the back. Repeat once more, sweeping the leg, controlling that sit posture, no clunks, no plunks. Then bridge by pressing down into the floor and sweep the leg. Next, have the hand leave, square up that upper body, leg to center, core brace, and then groove by pulling down with tension on that armpit. Add the shake, add the wiggle, repeat to the other side. Rack position, towards overhead. The leg we can touch, let's drop it back in our lunge. Scissoring hips, pushing that back hip forward for strength. Then open that leg to the side. Next, add the rotation through the upper body, and then incorporate the hinge with the hand on the floor. We're stacked over top, and then challenge to 2 bases of support, and sit on your bum. Then push into the floor, bridging, sweeping, and returning to those 3 bases of support. One last time, we'll sweep that leg to our tall sit, and then press into the ground, bridging, sweeping a leg. Next, we'll slide up the hand. Next, we'll square up that upper body, and then the leg to move. Core brace to full stand, armpit pulls, groove that press back to the rack. And then shake.
Well, there's nothing left to break down. It's time to swing some continuous swings. So with our bell, if you're feeling that way, that we could do 5 swings, we'll do an I go, you go for a couple rounds here.
Nice.
As we do that, either join me and swing with me or swing with Ian and rest when I rest. Whatever you do, pick one of us and always take some time off. Our continuous swings we set up as we would in our hinge position, gripping our bell.
2 hands on. It's full tipped and we're looking for full body tension. We're timing it that Lauren's in that standing plank for as long as possible until the kettlebell falls back to the zipper and then right back out up front.
All right, Team Ian, if you were watching that time, you're going now. Pull and snap. Good. Each time, and again at the top, those shoulders are retracted. A slight chin tuck as to not have that turkey neck out front.
Add the breath. Power the breath in the swing, matching that exertion to an exhale. And as we're recovering, in slow, out slower, and then wiggle. Adjust the hair, you got it, and adjust your stance. And here we go for 5 again.
So Team Ian, another set of 5 here. Always preload. Make sure that load is in the hamstring and the core before the bell leaves the ground. Match the exhale with the hip snap. We'll do 1 more round here.
Nice. Finish with integrity. We started strong, breaking down that swing, and finished like we could do more. For today's practice, we'll do 3 sets. Maybe on your own later this week, try 5.
Last set here, keep it strong. To finish, pull and part. On each swing, make sure that bell is coming down tight to the body and tight to the zipper of your pants. We don't want it to get too close to the floor.
No.
Take a couple breaths to recover, shake it out, and then we're gonna work on holding that bell.
You got it. So the firing range position is that first movement after the cuddle on our back for the get up. We'll work on that as well as other loaded carries here as we work on other variations of the hinge.
So I didn't know
Lauren's
if there was rules.
excited, there's no rules.
I didn't know if there was rules to get to the floor.
No rules. Let's just get down here. So I'll be using my right hand first on the bell. So I'll take my right pinky, put it near the corner, cuddle, breathe, and say, yeah, we're gonna hold this in firing range for about 20 seconds.
Yeah, we're gonna hold this in firing range for 20 seconds.
I like it. So pull, roll to your back, With 2 hands, press. 20 seconds here. The goal is that we have our vertical forearm in relation to the floor, and those armpits and shoulder blades are engaged for safety and stability at the shoulder. Hold. Are you breathing? Are you bracing those abs? Build a connection, gripping that bell tightly with the hand, stabilizing at the elbow and shoulder.
That was 20 real seconds.
And then 2 hands on, pull the elbow to the hip, and next, cuddle. Let go of the bell, keep it mostly where it is, and let's move ourselves around that kettlebell. So now we're on to the left hand for me, which is that pinky. Near a corner, get a good grip. Callus lines are lining up on the handle here. Pack a shoulder, roll to your back, and 2 hands to press. Hold two hands if that's for you, or as confidence and experience allow, take it away and assemble in your get-up pose. The shoulder blade is pulling towards the hip, down, as well as the spine or the midline of the body in the back. Elbow is straight. The forearm is perpendicular to the floor, and our grip is firm. We are counting on Lauren to keep track of the time here.
Right.
So in a couple more seconds, we'll go 2 hands on, give it that cuddle down, and then turn. Let's do that one more time here while we're on the floor.
Let's.
So spin around, a little bit of this left and right rest, just about as much time on as off, unless I get on a little bit of a tangent here. So let's get on a get up instead. Grip, pack, roll, and core brace press. The chin is tucked. The crown of head is pulling away from the body and building that nice connection between you, the bell, and the shoulder blade on the floor. The shoulder blade is pulled to the midline and then depressed or pulled down towards the hip. There's a little shakiness in my breath, a little shakiness in the arm, aiming to strengthen the connection. And then 2 hands on. Pull the elbow to the hip. Gently add that cuddle. Let go. And we have one last time on the other side. Moving yourself around the kettlebell is a guaranteed, or at least almost guaranteed way to not hit your head on the bell. So practice those good habits. As long as you move your butt
side around.
That's right. So crush that grip. Pack a shoulder, roll, and 2 hand press. Chin tuck, heavy tension in our get up. Please feel it's okay to spot with that other hand if we're unsure of the load. But the shoulder is packed. The blade is providing that stability to hold that bell over your head and face. The core is braced. We're breathing and relying on Lauren for that count. So breathe.
Oh yeah, sorry, we passed it.
A couple extra seconds. 2 hands on. Pull the elbow to the hip and then down. There's no rules except for one. Can you get up without using your hands? So maybe there's 2 rules there. You can't use your right or your left up anyhow you want.
All right.
From here,
From here, we'll progress onto a single leg deadlift. So what that means is you actually don't need your kettlebell. You'll just have some space. You'll step your feet into that hinge position and you'll push back just as we practiced earlier today. From here, from that loaded position, let's press one leg nice and straight and long out to the side. Once it's out the side, draw a quarter circle, reaching around out the back. Stay connected with that big toe. Lift the hip a little bit in the air, straightening that shin a bit, and then roll over the foot, growing up all the way to tall. Both hips squeezed. Step, other side. Hip hinge, pushing the hips back. Point that other leg long as you transfer that weight. Draw that circle, staying connected to the floor. Lift the hip a little bit, and then all the way to tall. One more time each side. Hinge, transfer that load. Try to keep everything as is as you transfer the weight. As we lift this hip a little bit, you should feel more load through your hamstring and glute. Roll up to tall. Last one, other side. Hip hinge. Transfer that weight, keep that hip in check, not jutting out to the side. Connect to the back, lift a little bit, load, and then up to tall. Hip extends, butt squeeze. Nice.
Great. Racks position next. Stand over top of our bell, pretend to zip up that coat, and catch a kettlebell in this racks position. A vertical forearm, the packed shoulder, just like the firing range on the ground. So for that, my handle of the kettlebell is parallel with my feet. I'm planning on using my right arm first, so grip it, pinky side near that corner. Then wrap the other hand over top for security. Do you feel the preload? If you do, pull it, zip, up the body to rack. For again, about 20 seconds. Where is that rib cage in space? Keep it centered over the hips. Pack the shoulder, crush the grip. That's been 12 seconds. So we have 5 seconds more here. Plan your dismount by taking 2 hands on, hinging tight to the body, and then standing up barehanded. Repeat on the other side. So the left pinky again goes near that corner. Then the other hand helps square up the shoulders and add security with the grip. Then zip up to the racks position, hold for time, and maintain your breath. The abs are tight. The feet are pressing away from center, gripping the floor, which makes us feel our butts perhaps. Again, we'll be planning our dismount here, so take 2 hands on to the body, barehanded up, and reset. One more time on each side. The hip hinge, the single hand on, squaring up shoulders, pack. Feel the preload and zip up the body. That second time there for me, it's the same bell, but it felt a little bit easier. We do hope to build awareness and strengthen that, and not that it's feeling more defeating as we go through. But 2 hands on, return to the floor, and come up barehanded. Final time, other side. Hip hinge, single hand, other hand grips to square and secure. Zip up the body, power to the rack, hips engage, feet press out, in and out with the brace. At the wrist, slightly flex that wrist to enhance the grip, and then prepare to dismount, return to the floor, come up barehanded, and shake. Hinges one last time.
Nice. We'll do the same thing again, just working on perfecting that hinge. With those feet slightly wider than the hips, pushing the hips back, loaded up. As you transition this weight, try to keep that single leg in the same position. We reach all the way around at the back. We lift the hip just a little bit more to load, bracing the core, driving the hip through, extend to tall. Repeat, hip chop. Keep that same positioning of the hip as you draw the circle. Then lift it slightly, making the shin more vertical, all the way to tall. Hips extend fully. One last time each side. Chopping. Feel this core brace as you transition that weight to one leg. Keep the brace as you lift the hip a little bit and then drive to tall. Last one, hip hinge. Feel the stability in the core as well as around that hip joint. To the back, lift it a little bit, and then zip, boom,
zip up. The last kettlebell hold for today is one of the most challenging, being overhead. We've grooved that position through the lunges and the various get-ups today. And if from weeks previous, or the challenge is right for today, let's aim to have that load overhead for, again, 20 seconds. It's full body tension as we approach, and it's the yes, I can get that overhead attitude that matters most, as well as making sure you feel safe and strong. But we'll hinge. It's like we got into the rack, hand on the bell, grip with the other, preload, and zip. Then, hiya, to the top. You can adjust your stance if you wish, aiming to be here for about 20 seconds, which is just about 10 seconds more. Pull the armpit down and keep that elbow super straight. In 3 seconds, we're dismounting, so open your stance, pull the kettlebell down, 2 hands on, and then return to the floor with a little bit of rest. I did my dominant hand first, and sometimes, again, I like to take off the ring to secure my grip in even further. We're doing our other side now, and it's the same effort. We step over the bell. We hinge and grip and feel the preload and pull it to rack. Then in rack, full body tension as you press up. Adjust your stance if you wish. And again, hanging here for about 20 seconds. If you don't want to go overhead, go to that firing range position and build strength and endurance from the floor first. And in 3 seconds, we'll continue the effort to pull down with control to the rack and then to the floor. Beautiful pace, Lauren. Up, barehanded. Does that feel like we could do that one more time? Or as I said, maybe to the floor and just holding it in the firing range position. Let's try one more time. Little shake, little wiggle. The yes, I can get this up attitude. Here we go.
Yes, I can.
Hinge, grip, preload, pull, and press to tall. Core brace. Armpits are down, elbows are super straight, and it really enhance that grip on the kettlebell. This outrigger arm for balance and support as well. And in 5 seconds here, we'll start by pulling that armpit towards the hip. The elbow follows. We end up in rack and then return to the floor. That's heavy metal, quite literally, and making sure your body's okay with that in between. Next is the last, and we'll do the same effort on the other side. The hip hinge, the grip, the secure, the preload, the pull to rack. Full body tension as we press towards overhead. Secure the grip. Adjust your stance if you need, and keep the rib cage over those hips as much as you can. Brace in the core. Lauren's testing her abs and squeezing her butt as she presses her feet away from center. Adjust your stance if you need. Take time as you pull that kettlebell back to rack, and then return to the floor. That does conclude the kettlebell component of today's practice. So I'm going to put that off to the side. And then with no rules, we'll get to the floor and let Lauren finish the 90-90 windmill for us for hips and upper back rotation.
So come on down. From the floor, we'll get to that 90-90 position. That means we have 90 degrees at that front knee, 90 degrees at the back knee as well. And let's put our feet also into that same category with the dorsiflex foot. From here, let's try to just sit up tall and see how that feels. A little jutty on this side, can't get square, feels great. Think about it. Then let's place that elbow down right underneath our shoulder. Taking that top arm, we'll cross it across our body. Thinking about that top hip, let's squeeze it and extend that hip forward this whole time. Now with your head, rotate to look at your elbow. Once you've looked at your elbow, rotate the rib cage towards the floor as well. Now take the head looking up towards the ceiling, and then rotate the shoulders open towards the ceiling. Once you get there, keep extending that back hip. Let's do it one more time. Head rotates towards the floor. Upper body closes up, keeping that back hip extended. Head will rotate open. Upper body will follow. Then from here, let's just press the floor away, getting to that tall sit again. Check it out again. Easier, harder, the same. No rules. Let's switch sides. Try the same thing on the other side. So looking down, we have that 90 in the front, 90 in the back, feet in that dorsiflex position. Squared up forward for now. Test the waters. Sitting here, little tipped, a little harder or easier on this side.
Easier for me.
Easier. Then from there, find that elbow. The elbow will be in line with that outside hip. Take that top arm and cross it across your body. Then push that back hip forward by squeezing your cheek. From there, head will rotate to look at the elbow. Then upper body will rotate to follow. Head will rotate up towards the sky. Upper body will look to rotate open as well. That back hip's extended one more time. Rotate head to look at the floor. Shoulders close up. Head rotates to the ceiling. Upper body also rotates. Keep the back hip extended, squeezed. Easy off. Press the floor away. Find that tall sit one more time, seeing what it's like. And then let's say goodbye. Thank you for joining us today on our beginner bell class. We're here tomorrow for a bar class, and then Friday for a restore and recharge. It's going to be a great time.
You got it. So using our body weight and kettlebells, we aim to strengthen the relationships with ourselves, with each other, and with you online. Thank you for being a member. If you're not, visit barsandbells.com/membership to receive weekly links and newsletters cataloging our journey, learning about our body, and how we can share that with you. Thank you for being here today in the archive or here live at 9 a.m. on Wednesdays. As Lauren said, we'll be back to our usual routines and look forward to training with you, staying strong with you, and
Seeing you soon.
Have a good day. Take care. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.